From Code Black in Season 2 on CBS, Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Rob Lowe here in studio. Good to see you, Rob.
Good to be here.
You were on the podcast many times, but your first time here in this studio.
I got to tell you, the studio is like, I go to a lot of studios,
Yes.
man. You got it going on here.
Thank you.
It's like a gentleman's lounge.
And I appreciate you and say a boys' lounge. It's gentlemen's.
Everyone knows you're a gentleman. You're a gentleman.
Thank you, Rob.
A gentleman over there.
Debatable.
We should be smoking cigars, though. There's a little, I'm feeling like.
We have that. I don't know if it's that's a code violation.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a code black.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. It could be one of those.
Yes, it could be.
So I know you're a Peyton Manning fan, as we've known.
Peyton was on my roast.
I
Comedy Central.
saw that.
We had a great moment where Ann Coulter was having a meltdown behind us, and it was sort of spreading throughout the auditorium. People were aware, but I didn't want to look at her or it or any of it because I knew I had to deliver my thing, and I didn't want to get. It's like, seasickness on a boat. If somebody else gets seasick, you don't want to get it yourself.
Got to focus.
So Peyton is the best. He goes, man, you just got to perf that. You got to just perf it. You can't turn around and look at it direct. It's like staring off safety. You just got to keep focused. And I thought, this is heaven.
With Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he is. You got to perf that. So good.
Number 18.
18.
I'll tell you what, man. And I know. So now, are you still a Colt or Bronco because of number 18 at all?
I still like those teams, but see, a lot happened for me with football this year. So a lot of my Peyton retired, right? So there's that, and my home got a team again.
Yes.
Because when LA didn't have a team, I got to cherry pick.
Yes, you did.
And that was great. So when the Rams moved back here, I was like, okay, now this is going to be my team. So that's sort of been where it's been.
Okay, so now where are you on the Goff Keenum situation? I saw some of your tweets yesterday, Rob.
I look at it this way. Listen, I can say this respectfully because I'm from the Midwest. Okay, so
From Ohio.
I'm from Ohio. So
Sure.
Ohio, St. Louis, those are my people. Okay, Los Angeles is not St. Louis. You can't come out here in the entertainment capital of the world and not give the audience what they want. You will be drummed out. That's a lesson we learn every day in movies and TV. The audience is the boss, and the audience wants that kid. And that stadium will be half empty, I think, if they keep it up.
Well,
because it's not like it's working. It's not like they're lighting it on fire. And I get that great quarterbacks have sat. I get it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers sat. I mean, and
Carson Palmer, who had his college career in that stadium, sat his first year.
Yeah,
I guess Steve McNair forced Jeff Fisher in Tennessee.
I get it, but then Peyton started, didn't have a great rookie year. Didn't hurt him in the end of the day. His rookie year was not.
First overall, they threw him right out there.
They threw him right out there. And look at number 2 in Philly. So I get it if things were happening, but they're not happening. And let's give it a shot. And by the way, if he's number 1 and you can't prepare him in 8 weeks,
that's the question right now. Okay, is that they're 3-5, and why is he technically
not ready?
Unready. Yes.
That doesn't sound like a number 1 pick to me. He's unready.
Unless, again, Ben Roethlisberger got us, even back in 2003, 2004, he got us all spoiled. Remember, he came off the campus in Miami of Ohio, came out all shiny and new, won 15 games and went to the Super Bowl.
Amazing.
And before that, it used to be, okay, any first round selection sits. Now it's a different story.
I mean, again, not to belabor the point, but you moved to Los Angeles. It's entertainment. You have it's like oh no, the star's not coming out of the dressing room. The star's not coming to the set. Well, he's the star. He's number 1 on the call sheet. First billing.
Call sheet.
Get his ass out there.
Rob Lowe is here. Let's take a break. We'll talk more about this in 60 seconds right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Back with more in a moment. Everybody needs a good luck charm. So what better good luck charm can you get than a Denali NFL or college blanket by the Northwest Company, sold at EliteTeam.com. Softer, 44% bigger, and made in these United States of America. There's my Michigan blanket that's out there for the radio audience. That's what's on the TV screen.
Good looking blanket.
Thank you, sir. So you go to shopeliteteam.com to save 10% and get free shipping with promo code RICH. Elite Team, the official blanket of pure fandemonium. Now, are you Buckeye because you grew up in Ohio, Rob Lowe? You and your family, are you Buckeyes, Ohio State?
No, we were big. But Archie Griffin, that was my era.
Okay.
It goes way back.
All right.
But yeah, absolutely. And my brothers.
I know Chad is nuts.
Nutty
about
Buckeye person.
Right.
But I'm absolutely a Buckeye person. But now it's, But then again, if they're going to play Duke or Stanford, which they never would, I got to go because
Well,
that's where my kids
Stanford,
are.
hey, I don't know. You never know. I mean, Stanford.
never know.
You never know. I mean, Stanford was
On
at
fire?
the beginning of this season on fire.
On fire.
I know. Christian McCaffrey's as good of a football player as you could see
He's a
anywhere in the
beast,
US.
and he's a great guy. Great guy, great family.
So you've met him up there?
Yeah, I see him a lot. I see him around a lot.
How often do you go around the Stanford?
As much as I
campus?
can. This year, my son is doing semester abroad, which is a bummer because I effectively missed the whole football season. So last year I was up for almost every game.
Right. David Shaw is a great
Amazing.
coach.
Great coach.
If I owned a team, Rob, I would call him up and, no disrespect to Stanford, say, how much do you want?
Right.
If I owned a National Football League, how much do you want to coach my team? He'd be the guy I would choose.
I'd love to have him coach. I want him at Stanford.
Right.
But
You mean down here? Let's not.
I don't want to open that can of worms. We don't want to open up that can of worms today.
Now, there's no there's no more can of worms that you can possibly open after the Peyton Manning unretirement situation of
You and I have
4
gotten a
years
lot
ago.
of mileage out of that.
We have.
I think it's the entire basis of our relationship at this point.
No, Peyton Manning, though, I mean, he, in a way, that was half his routine against you.
Oh, I know. He was
for your roast.
He was so funny how funny was he on the roast?
Well, I mean,
he killed it.
He could be the funniest athlete in terms of comic timing. I can't imagine anybody who's better than him.
When I said, what was your process? He says, I do it just like I do everything. I watch the film. He watched every person on the dais's past work.
Of the roast?
Yeah.
Are you
He watched
serious?
every roast.
So he watched every Jeffrey Ross?
Yes.
By the way, I wouldn't mind doing that myself.
No, it's great. I mean, isn't that amazing?
He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
He could do whatever he wants. What do you think he's going to do?
I have no idea. I tried to
Come on, let's make some news. Tell me you know
tried to get it
something.
out of him.
Right.
I have no idea because it's sort of, he's cursed with so many options. What would you do? I don't even know.
I think ownership, that's what he's going to do. I think he sees what Elway's doing.
Right.
And that's what he would like to do.
Because he loves it so
One
much.
day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Why not?
Every player, Hall of Fame caliber player, coming off the field, misses the competition in the worst way and tries to replicate it in whatever endeavor he or she, by the way, attempts. And he's exactly just like that. He's exactly like that.
But they have Elway in Denver.
They do. Everybody's talking about Tennessee wouldn't be a bad
Ooh,
spot.
that makes... See, I just want it to be organic. I don't want it to be like Michael Jordan and the Wizards.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's all good, but it's not really that organic to him.
Well, I guess him playing for them, him owning the team in North Carolina is that's organic.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So Peyton going...
And Tennessee is great.
Yeah, Peyton. So Peyton,
Love that.
Peyton going to say Buffalo.
I don't get it.
Not organic.
Not organic. Not organic.
Not to, just throw Buffalo out there in the mix. So Code Black on CBS... Is it safe to say, did you ever do any medical drama or film or anything? Is this the first of its type for you in your career at all?
It's the first at this level. I did a very short-lived show once where but it wasn't trauma doctor. I mean, my character is a Army trauma doctor out of Afghanistan, and that's where we're learning all of the latest techniques for life-saving is in the battlefield because we've been at war for 16 years. And so guys like the character I play in real life come from the battle zones to these big urban hospitals and teach them, the latest techniques. And it's just a really cool, different character based on reality. And the way I look at it is actors are asked to play heroes all the time, and these are real heroes. These people really exist, and it's been fun and an honor to bring them to life on screen.
And in the political season, how many people wish you and the rest of the cast of The West Wing were the people that people would be voting for?
Oh my gosh!
Right now.
And you know what?
How much do you get?
This is actually the year that Martin Sheen might have gotten elected. If ever there was a year, this was the slot. I mean, think about it. I mean, you got two guys who are starring on NBC. You got the Donald and you got Martin Sheen. Which one would you elect? Right? I mean, come on. It could have happened.
It's interesting too. Martin Sheen, you've known him forever, right? Like you grew up in a way as an actor around the Sheen family, right? I read that. And by the way, your books are awesome.
Thank you,
Rob. And you write them yourself.
I do.
It's
indeed.
not like you're telling the story. You could tell it's you actually at the computer banging
I'm there
this
with
thing out.
my number 2 pencil on my legal pad, banging it all out.
No, you're not.
Longhand.
Come on now.
Longhand. Because I can't type as fast as I can think. And by the time I'm hunting and pecking, like,
Get out of
yeah,
here.
so I have all my books bound in their original form in my office. It's just one of my prized possessions. It's
It's
kind of cool.
interesting that you would say that because, you know, I wrote a book, not by longhand, and, you know, it was the most frustrating thing I've ever done. But, you know, anybody who says I've read your book, it's above and beyond anything else that
Isn't
I've
it true?
done.
I mean, you know, people say love The Outsiders, West Wing, Parks and Rec, whatever, Code Black.
Right.
But when they say they love the book, that means so much to me because the book is, it really, it's us at our essence. I mean, you got to be honest in a book.
Yeah, and there's not many other forums in which you could tell a story of Cary Grant giving you soap on a rope.
He gave me young man.
Now, please tell that story. Please tell that story.
Well, I was trying to close his daughter. Let's so that's how it opens. You know, it was as
What it all comes
you
back
do.
to, Rob.
I was probably 6. I just got my learner's permit. So I was what, like 15 and a half, 16.
okay.
And she, Jennifer, the most beautiful, Diane Cannon, mom, Cary Grant, father.
Oh, my word.
You do
Yes.
the math.
Yeah.
But she was having none of it. Like too nice for me. Saw right through me.
Yeah.
But didn't stop me. So I go to the house. He's got this amazing white on white modern house up in Beverly Hills. I'd never seen anything like it. I was still 2 years out of Dayton, Ohio. And I had my first big show was going to be on television that afternoon. It was a ABC after school special.
Fantastic.
Right? Called Schoolboy Father. And I was the young kid who was going to be a father. And Cary met me at the door in a white terry cloth robe.
No.
I'll never forget it. And I was like a young punk. I was like, yeah, whatever, you crazy old man actor. I was just like I knew Cary Grant from the Flintstones. I knew more about that than I knew about Cary Grant. I was a young punk, didn't know anything. And he's like, young man, do you mind if I watch with you? And so he sat there and watched my very first show on the air with me and Jennifer. And I'll never forget at the end, he said, you remind me so much of a young Warren Beatty. And I thought, wow, this is cool. And then as I was driving away, you know, Cary at that point in his career had long since retired and had been out of the public eye. And one of the things he did was he was on boards, you know, business. And one of the boards he was on was Fabergé. And so as I'm running down the driveway, I see him hauling ass in his robe with a handful of boxes.
Like North by Northwest.
Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. In a robe with Fabergé products. Young man, I thought you might like to have some soap on a rope. And I had a soap on a rope that Cary Grant gave me in the shape of a microphone for years in my shower. Hilarious.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's crazy.
Hollywood.
Now, do you think the Cubs would have lost the World Series?
The rain delay?
If the Indians had allowed Charlie Sheen to throw out a first pitch.
Oh my God.
Like
he was there.
He went to Game 7.
He was there,
but
trying to get in.
He wanted to throw out a first pitch, though, Rob.
They should have let him.
Right?
They should have let him.
They should have let him. All due respect to Jim Tomei.
I think he disagrees.
You
with that.
disagree?
My body is saying they should have let him, and my mind is saying they shouldn't have let him. Does that make any sense?
You wanted to see it happen, though, right?
I both think it's I think it's both the greatest idea ever
And the worst
idea ever.
You're not far off.
Does that make any sense at all?
No,
Great,
totally.
great on paper. Right?
Yes.
Great on paper. And then
But you play the song, he has the glasses, and he walks out from the
then the
bullpen.
12-year-old
Listen, I'm in.
Everyone would be going
I mean,
nuts.
I've seen some of the greatest, my favorite sporting moments in baseball with Charlie. We shared season seats for years at the Dodger games. So, and there's nobody who's more of a baseball fan than Charlie. I'm changing my vote. They should have done it.
All right,
The 13-year-old though asks the dad, "Hey, Dad, who's that? What's he throwing?"
Just
out
think
the
how
first
long he
pitch
can
for?"
talk, how long that answer is.
that's it.
That's true.
It's a long answer.
That is true.
But if your initial, though, first blush thought was like maybe the Indians did the right thing by letting Tomei and Carlos Baerga.
I mean, those guys.
Dennis Martinez.
I mean, yeah. I think
Kenny Lofton.
I think they get it first. I think that's pretty clear.
Rob, love having you on here. Please come back, even if you're not promoting Code Black or whatever's going on.
This is great. I'll come out and bring a cigar next time.
Please do it.
In the studio.
Please do it. We'll turn off the fire alarms for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Rob Lowe, check out Code Black, currently, again, in Season 2, Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.